All praises to Yahweh Ba'Hasham Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hasham Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video or a lesson on a particular scripture in the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter, which goes in to say, let's read it. I don't want to misquote the scripture. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound. Now, what is the iniquity that's abounding? The lawlessness. But it's not about the government's laws. It's about the lack of enforcement of the laws of the Heavenly Father, right? The same law that Moses was given from the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, is the iniquity that's abounding in this current society, right? So because iniquity shall abound, because that's abounding, right? The love of many shall wax cold. And in this world, right, in everyone's life, in since they've been alive in this wicked society, man, or if they haven't experienced it yet, they will. There's came a time where they wanted or needed some mercy, right? And they wanted somebody to just deal with them fairly. They wanted to just be given fair treatment. They just wanted things to go how they normally go for everyone else, right? And they never received the fair treatment. They never received it balanced. They never received it fair. They was done over. They was dealt with wickedly, right? And because they kept having these kind of things happen to them over and over again, or even if it didn't happen to them, they saw that if they decide to be a person like that, they can get one over on somebody, right? Or it's better to screw somebody over than be screwed over, right? People have decided to be like that instead. And that's why you've got this whole, and this has to be mentioned because it's a big one that shows that that's what the world is like. In this whole dating society thing, right? You've got a whole thing where both sides, the men and the women, are trying to finesse each other. The women are trying to finesse the men by getting as much out of him without sleeping with him, even though when a woman sleeps with a man, she's getting sex as well, but they act like that's not happening, right? But it is happening, but they act like it's not. But they are trying, that's how they finesse. And then the man's trying to finesse the woman by sleeping with her as many times as he can, right? Without paying and having to take care of her at all, right? And that don't mean that the man, in the cases where this happens, that doesn't even mean that the man doesn't have any money. He still might have a hell of a lot of money. He could be a millionaire. And she'll see him in a nice car, right? She'll see him in a nice car. She'll see him in a nice whip, nice house. And she'll be able to go in his nice car with him, right? To go on a nice drive with him. Because he's driving where he wants to go anyway. So it's the same amount of fuel anyway. So she didn't finesse anything out of him. Now, she might feel like she's finessing something out of him in this situation. But she's in his nice car, driving to his nice house, which is going to cost the same amount of petrol, regardless of how many people's in the car, really. Right, give or take a few pence or dollars maybe because of the weight distribution or whatever, right? The car might have to use a bit more fuel to carry more people. Is it going to be that much different between like one extra human? Not really. Then she'll go in his nice house. He's got the lighting, it's all damp mood settings and all that, right? And then he does what he does with her. She's thinking in her mind, okay, I got this guy that's got this nice car, he's got this nice house, that's all going to be mine. I'm going to have access to this now because I've slept with him. No, she's not going to. Just like how the man's thinking when he takes the woman out to somewhere extremely nice. Not just somewhere nice, somewhere extremely nice when he don't even know anything about the woman, he just met her. That woman's thinking, man, this sucker's trying to do all of this because he's trying to get some and he ain't going to get nothing but blocked at the end of this day. But he's there thinking, oh yeah, she wants the shrimp, crabs and lobsters and a flipping, what's this other bugged out meal that they have? The fish eggs thing, man, caviar. And he's buying her all kind of abominations, thinking, man, it's a sealed in the bag, this one tonight. And at the end of it, he gets blocked. No kiss on the cheek, nothing, and then sent packing, mate. When he would have been better off saving that money in his bank account, to be honest with you. And both sides are just trying to finesse the other. Women are trying to not want to get a prenup and all this. Women are trying to want to beg to get married, not because they care about the man that they're with and they want to actually be a wife, because they know that being married gives them a financial advantage in this society. Just like how a woman getting pregnant in this world, right, gives them a financial advantage. Like let's just say, man, and I'm gonna bring a hypothetical scenario in this world. Imagine if in this society, when a woman's married to a man, it meant that she is not allowed to refuse him sex ever in her life. Let's just imagine a society like that, right? Let's just imagine that that's what that meant according to this society. Most of these women would not want to get married. But what a marriage actually means in this society for the most part is no matter what reason a woman decides to leave the man for, she gets some money, half, more than half, 10%, it don't matter. She's gonna get some, she's leaving with something. That's what it means. So of course, they're gonna want to get married because that's a finesse that they end up having. Of course, they're gonna want to get pregnant too, right? Because then that allows them even more. And some of them have realized, you know what? It don't even matter whether I get married or not. If I just get a baby by this guy, then I've got his ass for 18 years. And then if I get another one with him, then I got him for another 18 years. So if I kind of spread the gap, spread them out a bit, right? Well, I might have one child that's 9 and another child, the next one's coming after that. And I've got his ass. And then I'm gonna say he wasn't saying that when he blamed in me. That's how this society is. Everyone's trying to finesse each other, right? Plenty of men have experienced their women commit adultery on them. So then what do they then go on and to do? They end up trying to do that to another guy because they remember how it felt to be the guy that was getting committed adultery on, and it didn't feel nice. But because iniquity abounds, the love of many is waxed cold, and then now that guy's like, you know what? In order to try and heal the pain that I went through in this situation, I'm gonna try and do that to another guy. Right? Now, women do this stuff too, right? They've been so-called cheated on by men, but they do it thinking that they're doing it thinking that they're actually not committing adultery and breaking Yahweh's laws, but they are, right? And they're angry with them, thinking that they think that that man did, thinking that he broke Yahweh's laws, but he actually didn't break Yahweh's laws. If that woman that he slept with was not a woman, anyone else's woman previously, right? So they'll then, oh, because a man cheated on me before, and I think this guy is going to do the same thing, he's exhibiting the same behavior, I'm going to cheat on him. So then it becomes a society where you can't trust nobody, right? And let me get this scripture here. It says that they that forsake the law praise the wicked. Proverbs chapter 28 and verse 4. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. So the more of Yahweh's laws you keep, right, the more the more the wicked are going to be clearly able to be seen by your eyes. The more easy it will be for you to see and understand who the wicked are. And that's why it's hilarious when Christianity tries to say that the law is done away with. The law is an identifier on who's wicked or not. Right now, we're all technically not righteous and technically wicked, but some are less wicked than others. We're all worthy of death, but some have done way more things to be worthy of death than others, man. Some of them have did them sins unto death plenty of times. Some have did them once. Some have did them, well, I ain't even going to say some have did them once. Because people that are on this earth have did sins unto death plenty of times. Just not keeping the Sabbath properly is worthy of death. Right? Let me go to this. Let me go back to this. Because, yeah, even when it comes to the whole, let's say someone wants to buy a car, right? You want to buy a car. And you're like, oh, can I take it for a test spin? That person selling you the car ain't going to tell you that them brakes are effed. Ain't going to tell you that if you drive that car at 60 miles per hour on a motorway, right, after about half an hour, that head gasket's going to blow. You're going to get fuel. You're going to get oil in the engine tank, right? And it's going to just not be able to drive. You're just going to have smoke coming out the back like it's a steam train, right? And now you're going to be on the motorway waiting for that pickup truck to come and carry you away. And then you're going to get to that mechanic and you're going to find out it's a minimum £600-700 to get your car even be able to drive again. And then the mechanic's going to try and upsell and try and add on even more things. And be like, did you know that your this is gone and that your that has gone? And by the time you leave out that mechanics, you've probably spent £1,000 when you already bought that car from the other person for about 5 plus. Depending. Like let's go even even go for lower than that, 2,000 to 5 grand maybe, right? And that's if you're lucky. It might be more than that, right? And that's how it goes down here. Even when it comes to people that are poor, you've got people that are poor living paycheck to paycheck that so desperately want to see somebody else that's on benefits and poor like them broke and poor, because they're living paycheck to paycheck and broke, but they're sour that somebody else is on benefits and broke as well. But they're like, nah, I don't want you to have benefits from my cash, from my taxes, right? I want you to be broke as well. As if like some of the people that say this is funny. It's quite funny because the amount that they pay in tax, if they was to get given it, they still are not going to be living a better life than what they thought they'd be living. They could literally not get taxed, and their life's still not going to be like any better. Even if that person, even if they thinking that their taxes that they're paying so much are so drastically helping this person that's on benefits life, if all those individuals that didn't get paid that, just a few of them was to get given an experiment where, okay, you think that the amount that you're paying in tax is really help decreasing your life so much. Okay, 1,000 of you are going to not pay that anymore. You're not going to pay no tax anymore. Let's see if your life's really any better. You're going to get given back an extra £200-300 a month now, maybe. You're going to have to not pay out another extra £200-300 maybe. Okay, for some of you, maybe an extra £500 to £1,000, and more, some others extra two. Then when you start getting to that 2,000 to 2,000, okay, maybe they might be able to go a few more places in a week, in a year. I mean in a month, a few more. But £1,000 don't stretch as far as it used to. £1,000 don't stretch as far as it used to. £100 don't stretch as far as it used to, right? But that's not an accident though, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Nobody is really trustworthy down here. Women as well, on the women thing, right? Women in their mind, they think that they're actually doing something wicked when they do this, and that's why they like doing it, right? Women, they don't actually understand that when they're doing this, that actually potentially it's not actually even wicked, but they think that it's wicked, so therefore they're wicked for doing it. Because a woman will see a man that might be about to get engaged, right? Be about to so-called get married, or that he's actually married, he's got a woman and all that, and the woman appears to have a nice life with that man, and her envy will stir up inside of herself, and now she'll want to prove that that woman ain't better than her, or she ain't prettier than me. If I wanted to sleep with her, man, and have the exact same life as her, I could. And she'll think that because she slept with that man, that actually means that she could get all the other things that other woman got from that man, when it's not actually like that, right? And one of the problems in this society right now, yeah, is that there's women that are on a concubine level that are talking like they think they're on a wife level. Like women talking about my whole phase and then thinking that they're going to get married as well. What are you about? They ain't meant to be no whole phase anything around here. But they talking about that. They talk like that, man. That's like saying that's like expecting to get into the kingdom of heaven while having a Sodom and Gomorrah phase. Oh, I had a Sodom and Gomorrah phase, but now I'm ready for the new covenant. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? And since I mentioned that Sodom and Gomorrah thing, right? Well, Yahweh actually exempted us from being like that. To be honest with you, as Israelites, because of the remnant, he exempted us from being like that. He saved us from being that way. Romans chapter 9 and verse 29. And as Isaiah said before, except Yahweh of Sabaoth had left us a seed, we had been as Sodom, and been made like unto Gomorrah, and the 2/3 of Israel and the sons of Belial, the Israelites that are not of the elect, on all the other continents of the earth outside of America, outside of North America, that are not technically 2/3, but are in the same spirit, right? They also are like Sodom and Gomorrah. They're like Sodom and Gomorrah, and they ain't getting into the chariots either. It's not just the Israelites that are not of the elect that are in Babylon that are gonna not get on the chariots. No, the other ones ain't getting on there neither. They're not gonna be on them either, man. Like women will be okay with a man having more than one woman, when she wants to sleep with that man to try and steal him from another woman. But you'll notice that these women don't ever want to be like, you know what? Forget what the woman, like none of these women are always bold to try. It's actually absolutely ridiculous when you really think about it, you know. Some of these women will know that a guy's got plenty of women, right? Certain guys and that, celebrities and all these kind of people and these rich men and that, right? And even certain other men that are not necessarily rich, but they might just be considered handsome in a woman's eyes or whatever. And they'll all know that this guy is dealing with all of them. But their plan is not to make the man have all of them. Their plan is you got to pick one. And that shows that therein lies that they're hypocrites and that they are wicked. Also, another thing when it comes to these women is that when women have sons, right, they want their son to be a ladies' man. They want him to be, but then they don't want their husband to be a ladies' woman. So you're a demon. Because it's okay for your son to have 5 or 10 girlfriends in your eyes, they'll think. But then if their man's got that, then they're sour. Another thing on these women, a lot of them are jealous of their beautiful daughters. When these women start getting beautiful daughters, they start getting jealous of a man. Because when they start going out with their daughter when she becomes of adult age, right, they start going outside and they start seeing men that they think are handsome and seeing that man smiling in their direction. And they're thinking, oh, here we go again. Let me judge my hair. I'm used to this. I'm not new to this. Thinking that they're gonna show their daughter, see, your mum still got it. He ain't even looking at you. He's looking at your daughter, and they start realizing that, and then they start getting sour about it, man. And they start getting jealous of their daughter, hating on their daughter, hiding their daughter's ID so that she can't go to the nightclub. Now, I don't think that women should be going to no nightclubs anyway, because that just turns women into hoes. But I'm just giving an example that these are the kind of things that these mums do. They're hiding their daughter's ID, hating on their daughter if their daughter gets given some money from their dad that they're no longer with, that they broke up with, it's getting all sour. Like, oh, you got given X amount of money from your dad because they really think that they deserve that money. But if they never fucked the guy over in the past, in whatever way they broke up with him, or he so-called cheated on me, or he so-called this and so-called that, well, then maybe they would have got given that money or given a percentage of it. But why would a mom be jealous of a daughter that's getting given money from her own father? Outside of a woman's husband, who should be giving her any money? She shouldn't be accepting money from anybody else outside of her husband or her father, right? And once she gets a husband, she's no longer her father's burden anymore to be asking him for any kind of money, man. Now, in this society, a father giving his daughter things in that kind of way when she don't deserve it, to a certain degree, is actually going to ruin her more than help her. Because the women in this society are arrogant or as enough as it is, right? But because iniquity shall abound, Matthew 24:12, the love of many shall wax cold. So even amongst that, you've got hatred in there because there's certain women that other women are jealous of because they think that they got all the wins. So the women are doing things like setting up their friend to get acid thrown in their face and all kind of crazy stuff that happens in this world, man. Women are setting up their friend to get drunk in public so that they can embarrass themselves. Women always try and go like it's just men that might spike a woman's drink. I think that women spike women's drinks as well. I think that women spike other women over their female friends' drinks, man. I think that part of the reason why women play defense in that whole nightclub and get so-called game world and all that when their female friend are getting all the attention is because they want a man to approach them, their female friend that they want to sleep with. And they're like, nah, I'm hanging around with you because I want you to bring a man around that I think I couldn't get without you being there. And then when he becomes your boyfriend, I'm gonna always be around like a fly on the wall. And I'm gonna try and in a quiet moment get a chance with a guy that I couldn't get a chance with before. But when they see a guy that they think that they could get by themselves, they're like, ew, get away. That's part of it too, man. This whole society is truly disgusting, but it's because people are not keeping Yahweh's laws. Even something as simple as people eating pork, it might seem innocent, but if we was to really analyze the world, it's causing the world to be disgusting, right? Because people have become used to and are justifying eating something that you're not supposed to eat. So then what else will you then justify? People are prepared to ignore Bible verses that clearly say you're not supposed to eat pork to eat it, right? And then they'll say, oh, but that was only for the Jews. But then they'll also say that the Jews were wicked because they didn't keep the law. They'll also say that the Jews were sent the Messiah, that the Israelites were sent the Messiah, and they didn't believe in him. Okay, part of the reason why the Israelites were sent the Messiah because they were sinning. One of the sins that they were doing was eating pork. So if you now claim to be a true believer and better than an Israelite, then you shouldn't be eating pork. Because then how are you better? How are you better when all you think that you're supposed to do as a so-called Gentile, which that doctrine is not true, by the way. Salvation is only for Israel. But I'm just going with the idea that they push out there. How are you better as a Gentile if you only have to believe? But the Israelites were supposed to believe and keep the law. How are you better? How the hell could you even dare think that you're better if you're saying that all you have to do is believe and not keep any laws, but the Israelites was supposed to keep the laws and believe, but nobody other than the Messiah has ever kept the law. So that would have meant that the Israelites was given an impossible task, right? But it's only about faith anyway. Faith without works is dead, and the only people that can be given faith are the Israelites. The only people that are going to be under the new covenant are the Israelites. Read Hebrews 8th chapter. Read Jeremiah the 31st chapter. It's clearly written in there. New covenant with Israel, right? That new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. It doesn't mention no one else. It doesn't mention the house of Esau. It doesn't mention the house of Ishmael. It doesn't mention no other descendant of Abraham. Yet y'all are talking about we're all Abraham's seed. You're a liar. No, we're not all Abraham's seed. Even in an earthly realm, man. If a man has got 100 kids in his area, right, in the area that he lives in, he's got 100 kids, which would be a lot in this day and age. One man got 100 kids by 100 different women, or let's say by 10 women, whatever amount you want to say. It's not really relevant, right? And he writes a will to them 100 children, but somebody else in the area hears about that, talking about we're all Timmy's seed. No, you ain't. He's got 100 children, right, that live in his area, and his will is for those 100, not for you. It don't matter if you can read and read what he said. Don't matter if you read the particular stipulations that he said that they have to do to get access to the will. It was promised to him, and then the promise was promised to him and promised to the seed after him. So if you ain't a descendant of him physically, why the hell would you think you're getting it for? And it's funny, the same people that are always asking us to prove that we're Israelites think that Abraham's seed is a spiritual thing, but then they don't think that we could be Israelites spiritually. Isn't it fascinating? And when you actually really deep the whole thing, these people just want to say whatever they want to say to make us not be Israelites. If there was a verse in the Bible that said Israelites are copper colored, because I've tested it, I've got a copper, and I'll do a video on it if people think it's a game. If anyone wants to try and challenge me on that, put a comment on this video and challenge me. My skin is copper colored. I've got a copper coin before, right? Put it right on my hand, a 2p piece, put it right on my hand, and the thing damn near blended in and was exactly the same color. And any other Israelite out there, any other so-called black man out there could get a copper coin and put it on their hand, and it's gonna damn near be the same color as well. And a majority of them, or about 25% of them, might be lighter than that coin. So how the hell are we black? And then others are going to be darker than it, but they're still going to be brown skinned. If we put our hand on something black, our hand's going to clearly be able to be seen as a different shade as a different color. We are not black, man. You people are full of shit. And you want to just be able to say whatever you want to say to make us not be Israelites. If there was a Bible verse that literally said that all the Israelites are copper colored, you're trying to think you could go back in time and change what copper looks like? Because when people used to get mocked for having woolly hair, people was okay for us to have woolly hair then. But the moment we realize in the Bible that it says that the Messiah has woolly hair, now all of a sudden you want to talk about white people that have got woolly hair as well. As if that's not because of a mixture with being mixed in with black people at once upon a time. But then you don't want to focus on maybe the 5 to 10% of so-called black people that might have straight hair, do you? Because these people just want to be able to say whatever they want to say to make us not be anything special. And that's because of the perpetual hatred that these people have for us. But you know what? We don't like you either. We're starting to really grow a dislike for you people as well, man. We're walking on the street, you people, when we're walking on the street minding our business, you people being all fake, you Edomites being all fake, saying good morning. But the way you're saying good morning sounds like you got some so-called black fatigue up in that voice, man. Good morning, gritting your teeth and that. Fuck you. You may as well not say it, man. But we'll say it back to supplant, to make you think we don't know what you're up to. But we see you, man. I see you, devils, man. I see you with both eyes, man. I know what y'all are about, you Edomite devils, man. Y'all are some of the most hateful and envious and jealous people ever existed on this earth. The top ones. Some of the most covetous people. You'll have an Edomite that literally never cared about his grades in school, right? Never went to college, never went to university, never studied any trade, never studied any skill in his whole life, right? Just went to the school system just because, then just did nothing else. And just went and did jobs, but did the bare minimum in them jobs and was messing around on his job and all that. And then he'll talk about, when he sees an immigrant with something, he'll be talking about they're coming over and taking all the jobs, as if he could do the job that he's claiming that they took. Then they'll be talking all this, and I don't listen, man, I don't give two shits about no immigrant, you know. Like, I hope people don't think I'm on no Captain Save-A-Hole for none of these immigrants. I don't care. I don't give a damn about them either, because they're heathens anyway, majority of them. So fuck them, right? But the hypocrisy of it all is disgusting. They'll talk all this, another doctor and engineer, but they're not a doctor and engineer themselves. Oh, we got doctors and engineers here. Oh, doctors and engineers, mate. The same videos that these Edomites make, where they do all this stuff, going around recording immigrants and talking all these doctors and engineers, in the same videos, a lot of the time, it's mostly so-called English people or American people acting up in the videos, man. I've got the same complaints. Why are you recording me for? Yo, why are you recording? It'll be the same. They'll be causing more of a problem than anyone else in the video. But then you don't say no doctors and engineers to them. And some of them might be studying at university to be them things. As if being a doctor or engineer means that he's not wicked. Like Yahweh Shai, when he comes back, he's just going to be saving every real life doctor and engineer. As if doctors are not scumbags that was telling people to take the VAX. As if they wasn't lying and trying to make out like the COVID was worse than CANCER. As if they weren't saying to people in hospitals, oh no, we're not trying to harm you. We're not trying to harm you. This is a good thing to take. This is not no kind of secret ploy. And as if they wasn't getting paid money to make people get it. There was a financial incentive for them to do that. So don't even dare try and make out like engineers and all these people that's just so righteous. Don't try and even dare and make out like if the job you've got means that you're so righteous, man. Oh, mate, have you heard of Lucy Letby? Wasn't she a nurse? And what was she doing? What was she doing, man? As if being a doctor or engineer just makes you exempt from being wicked. As if that just cleanses you of all your sin. As if being a doctor or engineer is perpetual arms where, okay, now I'm a doctor or engineer. Anything I do now, I'm righteous. I'm a doctor, but when a woman brings her child in for me to care for them, right? I'm watching that woman's batty crease, and I'm lusting after her, and I'm gonna plan to try and sleep with her. But I'm a doctor though, so it's not adultery because I'm a doctor. Is that how it works? No, it don't. I'm a doctor, but I'm committing adultery with plenty of people's wives. Does that mean you're exempt? Or I'm a doctor, but I'm eating pork. Does that mean you're exempt? Because you're a doctor? Or I'm an engineer, but I'm coveting. Oh, I guess it don't matter no more because I'm an engineer. I do one of the STEM fields, science. What's it? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Oh, I'm in a STEM job, so I'm all right. I'm my work, my righteousness is no longer as filthy rags because I'm a doctor or engineer. I work in one of the STEM field jobs, or I'm a lawyer. So when I commit adultery, it's not adultery anymore because I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer that bears false witness and lies to get people that are actual, real, hardcore, filthy criminal scumbags off due to a technicality in the law. I'm righteous though. And if I get pulled over by the police, I'm going to use my hierarchy of being a lawyer to get out of that. But I guess it don't mean that I'm wicked no more because I'm a lawyer. You people are stupid idiots, man. The job you do does not make you exempt from wickedness. You can be a wicked ass doctor and a wicked ass engineer and a wicked ass anything else, and a person could just be a flipping person working in retail and they're more righteous than everyone else. But that's how this world goes, though. And again, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, because the time's coming where people ain't gonna care about whether you're a doctor or engineer. They're gonna spin you the way how they'd spin anyone else, man. And if you don't know what that means, catch up, man. We don't have to talk in old Queen's English for you punks out there, man. We can talk the way how we want to talk. And also, we don't have to believe the Bible the way how you Christians believe it neither. The way how we believe the Bible is becoming the way how people think the Bible is supposed to be interpreted. We're starting to set the standard for the Bible, man. We've overtook you Christians as Hebrew Israelites. We've overtook you. People don't no longer believe none of that John 3:16 BS really, according to where you believe it. They don't really believe that. People don't no longer really believe that the Messiah looks like a so-called white man with blue eyes, with his arms out, getting ready to hug people. They don't believe that, man. People don't no longer believe that that the people in the Bible are not so-called black people. Not a lot of people are not believing that anymore, man. So they're trying to get rid of the Bible being believed in general because they know that they can't control the narrative with the Bible anymore. So they'd rather be like, you know what, the Bible ain't even really about anything at all, and it's actually something that's not beneficial to the society. They'd rather believe that. That's the route they're going. Because you got this Malone character guy that he's running around running his mouth, but has he really broke down the whole Bible so that his congregation can know what's going on, regardless of what Israelites are talking about? Or is he always just trying to focus what he's saying based on what we're saying? But we don't have to do that. Israelites could happily go 6 months without even worrying about anything that guy's got going on. And people are still going to come through seeing what the Israelites are talking about, man. Drusky never did no skit on Vocab Malone, did he? He never did a skit on Vocab Malone. Vocab Malone's had to do skits on Israelites as well. Drusky's doing skits on Israelites. Kanye West, who's possibly the best musician alive right now, definitely one of the most talented ones, where no matter how bugged out you want to say he is, he's talented in music. He ain't really got too many songs that are terrible. He ain't really got too many songs that are not good, to be honest with you. He takes church choirs, right? Makes them sing and makes his own samples. He don't even have to. He has in the past, but he doesn't even have to sample other musicians of the past. He'll make the sample himself. He'll go to a church choir, pay him a bit of money, right? Couple of grands or whatever, 5-figure grands, and they'll make the sample. They'll have him singing how he wants to sing it, man. And then they'll sample just a 10-second portion of that. I've seen him make a beat before out of the car door alarm when the car door is opened, where the car door dings. He made a whole song out of using that sound. Literally recorded that sound and put it into his song, man. That beeping sound that a car door makes in a fancy car when the car door is left open too much. So But he had to mention the Israelites. He said before slavery was a choice. Then the next thing he came out saying is, yeah, we're the Israelites. What's up though? We're the 12, but he said it wrong. He said we're the 12 tribes of Judah. But he was still somewhat saying it though. All you people end up having to mention the Israelites. That waste man Myron Gaines, that's absolutely, mate, that guy, I don't even care if he's an Israelite, you know. Whatever he is, he ain't no so-called white man. He ain't no Edomite. That guy is one of the biggest shocking. He's a like next level Uncle Ruckus, Stefan from Stefan from Django Unchained type character, man. That guy is really absolutely lost, man. Like he really is a lost individual, that guy. I don't care how correct he might be. He's on point when it comes to talking about these hoes. But who cares? And if dancing proves that you're an Israelite, he's definitely not one if you've seen him dance. Because I ain't Omarion out here. I ain't Chris Brown. I ain't Usher. I ain't from one of them extras or one of the main characters from You Got Served. But I can fucking maneuver my body a bit better than that to dance. I tell you that for nothing, mate. I might not be able to sing like a Jake or spit a hot 16, but I can fucking step to the side twice to the left and step to the side twice to the right and then step backward twice and then step forward twice without looking like I'm about to getting crisscrossed over by Jaylen Brown on a basketball court and have my ankles broken. I'll tell you that for nothing. I'll tell you that from now, bruv. That guy, if dancing proves you're an Israelite, he's not no Israelite. I'll tell you that from now. Straight up. If dancing proves you're an Israelite, he's not an Israelite. Simple as that. Simple as that, man. It don't matter how right you can be about these hoes. Plenty of men understand that women are wicked right now in this world. That don't mean you're on point with everything else. And the amount of time that this guy is always talking about Jew this and Jew that, Israel this and Israel that. Mate, does he even understand or know any prophecies concerning the Israelites anyway? Does he even know any prophecies concerning the Israelites? Does he even know anything? Does he even know that when the Israelites, according to prophecy, when the Israelites are in the power seat of the world, that they're going to rule over the world with a rod of iron, teaching everybody else to keep the laws? Are they doing that? No, they're not. But he'll run his mouth about Israel, think he's so red-pilled, right? He's so red-pilled, huh? But why don't you know these things then? Why don't you know that according to the Bible? Like, surely you should have read the book that they're supposed to be about. But this guy don't even probably know that the Torah is in the Bible. This guy probably actually really believes that the Jews, that the Israelites are actually supposed to follow the Talmud. He actually probably thinks that that's actually the real Israelites book. He actually really probably thinks that that small stupid hat that they have on their head is something that's actually biblical. No, it's not. He actually probably believes that they're supposed to do a metazitza bepe, where they use their mouth when they're doing a circumcision, which you're not supposed to do that. He actually probably believes that you're an Israelite based on whether your mother's one or not, when you're not anything in this world based on whether your mother's one or not. You're not an Ishmaelite based stuff whether your mother's one or not. You're not a Hamite or a Japhite or any other nation based on whether your mother's one. You're always based on your nationality, based on your father. It's not no unique thing for Israelites. That's the rule for humans. Are you a human? Okay. The nationality you belong to is based on your mom. Why? Because the man has not based on your mom. He's based on your father, you see? Almost got tricked myself. He's based on your father. Why? Because the father has the seed. The mother don't have no seed, so the mother doesn't have the thing within her that transfers over the lineage. The man has it. And he transfers it into the woman, and she gives birth to another one of his lineage. So for all the power that you may want to try and claim over pregnancy, you don't have the power to undo that, dear. You don't have the power. But because iniquity shall abound anyway, everyone's going to get a taste of what reality looks like, man. And it's not going to be nice. Like, I think about the day of the Lord on a regular basis, and I really think, man, a lot of these women, they really do not understand how it's going to be, right? They really do not have a clue. Like, they really don't understand it, man. They can't. They've been so, things have been so peaceful for so long for them in this society that they really do not understand the thought process of, if everything went down right now, if everything just fell right now, for like, if just imagine this right now, if when the lockdown took place, yeah, and everything closed down and if no one could go, just imagine if it stayed like that from then till now. Just imagine if that lockdown would have stayed on from all the way from back in 2009, like late 2019 to now. How many of these men would be proud right now? If they wasn't restricted on being able to go anywhere, having to stay in their house and maybe go out for a walk, and they just kept restricting it more and more and more. How many of these women would have ended up sleeping around if it meant that they could have get more freedom? How many of these women would have went into being a straight up open prostitute? How many of them would have did that? How many of them would have unalived themselves? How many of them would have been saying that men ain't this and men ain't that? How many of them right now that are running their mouth will be saying everything that they're saying right now? Because they can't even handle men not hollering at them. They can't even handle men not opening the door for them. And I was watching one of the videos, one of the elders where he said like, perfect your hate, right? Because some of these women and that are going to be starting to catch in hell because they're not getting all this money and stuff like that, right? And here's the thing, what he said was true, right? What he said was true, because us, like, people try and make out like Israelites, so-called black men, Latino, and Native American men are the most evil people in the world. No, we're actually not. We're actually some of the most peaceful people in the world, which is why people try us so much. But Yahweh's getting ready to make us have the same level of anger and disgust and hatred that we show amongst ourselves. We're going to start showing love amongst ourselves and show the hatred to you people that are not of us. Right? That's one of the things that's going to start happening, man. Because people are going to, if Israelites are stiff-necked and wicked, but eventually they catch on. They get it together eventually, right? And when they do, they realize, oh, so that's the game we're playing, yeah? Okay, fuck you. So we're playing it like that then, okay. All right then. Let's play it like that then. And that's why these Edomites can't really be open too much about their race, and they're trying to be more open now, but even still within that, they're trying to be like, oh, but not all. No, you really mean all. But you don't want to be too open, because then you know what will happen. Your power as an Edomite comes from secrecy. And when they do decide to come after the Israelites in an open way, that's how you know really that their power is gone. They know that their power is just at an end. Revelation 12:12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that you have but a short time, because they know their power is gone. All the previous deceptions that they used don't work no more. And that's what happens in this world when people try and deceive openly, try and deceive underhandedly, right? And none of that deception works anymore. There's only one thing that they can do eventually, is just be open with it, right? These psychopathic people in this world that try and do things behind the scenes, once you expose that you know what they're up to, the only thing that they can do after that is just be open with it then. Be like, okay, you seen me, now I'm just going to have to be open with it. That's Esau. That's what he's getting ready to do. That's what he's getting ready to do, man. Now, you can think he's not going to, all you want. Just wait and see. Just wait and see what this guy is going to do, man. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Everyone. Not women are not going to be exempt from this. Rich people are not going to be exempt from this. You Queens English-speaking people are not going to be exempt from this. You so-called middle class. You so-called, I've been giving charity to Oxfam for decades. I've bought thousands of houses in Africa for these people on Oxfam. How many have you bought? All you people that give a homeless man £20, I think you're doing something. All you people that have set up charities and all that, you've so-called done things for the community. Woe unto you as well. All you people that you did food, open up food banks. Oh, I've opened up food banks for the poor and homeless, right? So I'm better than you. What have you did for the community lately? I've opened up food bank. I've been giving way more money to Africa than you've been giving. Fuck you and fuck Africa as well. Straight up. That's how I feel about it. Africa's got nothing to do with the kingdom of heaven. That's how I feel. Yeah. You don't get no special privileges and escape from the day of the Lord's wrath because you put £20. You've got a direct debit set up for £20 a month to go to charity. That's £240 a year. You ain't brought world peace. So who do you think you are? You ain't brought. Let me drop a line from Kanye. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers. You ain't saved the world neither. You've got a problem with what the Hebrew Israelites say, right? But you have what you're doing hasn't brought no peace on the earth neither. What the Hebrew Israelites are doing has caused a big stir on the earth. I'm seeing all kinds of people, man. And the first place that I ever heard the people say this, and the first times I ever started saying it, when I was an Israelite, when I knew I was an Israelite, calling people demons. Now everyone's saying that. And they don't even understand. Some of these people that are saying it, they don't even understand that they got it from the Israelites. Oh, these people are demons. They're demons. These people, where did you get that from? Where did you get it from to say that about people? Do you even know that you got it from the Israelites? No, you don't, because you're dumb, aren't you? They don't even realize that they got it from us. They're biting everything that Israelites do. Right? But they're obsessed with us. These people are obsessed, man. Luke chapter 21 and verse 15, for I will give you words and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. They can't refute, they can't disrupt anything that we're saying and prove that it's not true. They cannot with 100% certainty prove that anything that we are saying is not true. They cannot prove that we are not Israelites. They can't do it. They can try and talk about DNA tests all they want. We are not in charge of that DNA test that they would want us to do anyway. That DNA test is not 100% proof whether you are or are not an Israelite. Who are the Israelites that they used to prove that if your DNA matches this DNA, that you're an Israelite? Whose DNA was it that they used? Whose DNA? Because they would surely have to use the DNA of a real Israelite to compare everyone else's DNA with, or a large group of real Israelites to compare your DNA with that, right? Whose DNA? Which real Israelites DNA did they use? That's what I want to know. So therefore, you can't come with no DNA talk. But they can't prove. Like, it's fascinating. These people can so much prove who we are, in the world. You're not an Israelite. You're not this. You're not that. Who the fuck are you? Who are you? You can tell me everything about me. Or you had cornflakes for breakfast. Oh, you walk about 5,000 to 20,000 steps a day. You're this height, you're that weight, you're this, you're that. Okay, you know all this about us, right? Who are you though? You got this guy out there following Israelites around, stalking them. Oh, Abba Bivens made a book about this. Oh, well, it all goes back to one West, and then there was a split, and then this guy started this camp, the IPP, and this one, and then this one started this camp, and then this one. They all believed that Cornelius was an Israelite, but these lot, they didn't believe, and they kicked this group out of the camp, and then they set up this group. All this history, mate. What's your story, fam? Well, who are you? Who are you in life? All this about everyone else, man. Like there's a scene in a movie, man, called No Country for Old Men. And the psychopathic madman in that movie, he says something along the lines of, if the rule that you followed brought you to this place, yeah, where he's got him just lined up with a silenced 12 gauge shotgun, man. And he just got him lined up, and the guy knows he's about to not make it home tonight. And he just got him lined up, sitting at him, looking at him. He's like, yo, if the rule that you followed brought you to this place, right here, what you doing, then how good was the rule, man? Right? And that's a good question to all you people. If the rules that you're following make you ask us to prove who we are, but you don't think you have to prove who you are, how good's your rule? If the rule that you people out there are following is telling you to ask us to prove our DNA, yeah? But the people that you believe are the real Israelites, you've never asked them for proof of their DNA. And I wonder how many of you people would ask us to prove our DNA to prove that we're black. Because, like, I can't prove I'm black because I'm not. Ask me to prove I'm black. I can't do it because when I'm looking at my hand right now, as I'm looking at it, it's brown, mate. Like, I can't prove I'm black. And isn't it funny? None of y'all never asked us to prove we're African neither. Have you asked us to prove we're African? You think we're African or we're black, right? How come you never asked us to prove that we're African? Why not? Because in your mind, people with our skin color are African or black. But actually, if you really look at the world, what's took place on the earth is that there's a certain nationality that nobody on the earth wants to claim. That is the nationality of being an Edomite. Nobody wants to claim that. So that nationality for a long time was basically hidden and treated as though it's not anything. So that left one nationality that's supposed to be occupied by a group of people on the earth not being occupied. So that meant that there was 17 nationalities, according to what we Israelites believe now, that have to be covered by 18 nations, right? But that's not possible to do. So what did they do then? They was like, okay, the Edomites nation is cast away because we've hid it. That is even a thing that exists. And we're also going to try and hide the Israelites as being a nation as well, right? Psalms 83, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So instead of calling people Israelites, we're going to call it Jewish. So then now the Israelites are disappeared from being actually called that. And the Edomites are disappeared, which is what we are, the ones that are calling ourselves the J-Wish, with a small hat to really Edom. So then, okay, if the people that are actually Israelites, they've had their nationality taken away from them because people don't want to mention it in the earth no more, what do you have to do then? You're going to have to make up a nationality. So then instead of there being 18 nations according to the Bible, which there is, you're going to get rid of some and make new ones. So now, because you know that the Israelites are actually several different tribes, you're going to start deciphering the tribes. Okay, so this tribe, we're not going to call them the actual tribe name. We're going to call them Puerto Ricans. And this tribe here, we're not going to call them their actual tribe name, Ishakar. We're going to call them Mexicans, right? And these black people here, we're not going to call them Levi. We're going to call them Haitian, right? And if they can't figure it out who they really are, then it's not going to ever matter. This is what's happened on the earth. This is what's took place. So then when the real people who their identity is actually start coming back for their identity, people have got a problem with that. And just imagine, just think of this. Imagine there was like a big like natural disaster in an area, right? That caused for most of the inhabitants to leave from that area, right? They just left the area and couldn't live there. But one person or a few people decided to stay, or a few people after the destruction passed and died down decided to come back and stay. But people used to live in them areas. So then the people that come back earlier, they say, you know what, we're gonna live here now. And when they overtake people's houses, right? They see the people's pictures in the house. So they're like, you know what, I'm gonna take their pictures out of the house and throw them out. And at first, when they're doing it, like they're kind of scared because they're like, man, if the people come back, what are we gonna do? They're gonna be able to prove it's their house, but they don't come back to try and claim their house for hundreds of years. Then another 100 goes by, and another 100 goes by, and another 100 goes by. But then eventually those people remember, man, you know what? That house is there. That's our home, and let's go back to get our house. Would it be easy for them to prove that it's their house after that? If they say, no, this used to be my house, and in fact, not used to be, this is my house. The person that stole the house is going to be like, well, okay, prove it, because if you look in his house, my pictures are on the wall, not yours. Okay, you say it's your house, yeah? What color's the living room? But they've already painted the walls and changed the colors now. It used to be blue, used to be brown, used to be green, but now they've changed it to white walls or whatever. Or it used to be white walls, they've changed it to gray. So now it don't look like what it used to look like when you owned it. Or before you left, because you still really own it. You'd have a hard time proving it, right? But eventually you're going to go back to the time where you did own it and start looking at the history of that house. Okay, I know that this is my house because if you go back and you might start looking up and seeing pictures of you in the house. Like, okay, You're saying it ain't my house, but here's a picture of me in this exact same building that you're in right now. My picture's on the wall, and it's got the date there, going back to when that hurricane happened. You know, this is the pictures of me up in that house, not you. This is me in this area before you was living here. This is me in the garden, cutting the grass. In the same garden. Here's the proof. It's me right there in front of that right same door. Here's all the mail that I used to get going to this exact address. And look at the dates on it. It's way before the dates of what you had. Here's the title that I got of the land and all that. You're going to start showing them things, and eventually they're going to get sour, and they're going to have to try and just fight you for it. That's what's happening, man. In a grand scale, though. Not in a hypothetical scenario. In a real world scenario. That's what happened to us. They stole our land and was able to live in there for centuries, right? For decades, without us questioning it as being our land. But now we're questioning it, and we're examining them through prophecy and be like, okay, you say you're the Israelites, but you're not matching prophecy. So what's up then? And everybody else that sees this, they're kind of realizing, yeah, actually it's kind of, it's looking like they're actually telling the truth, but you don't want to accept it though. Because then if these people are who they say they are, and look at how you've treated them, you know you're going to have to pay for that. And you are going to have to pay. You people are going to have to pay for what you've did to us, man. You people have did a lot of wickedness to us. And you're going to get your chance, right? 2nd chapter 15 and verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in the hands. And a lot of you people would, like, I was even thinking about this yesterday. The fact that the term Jacob's trouble is in the Bible proves that the Edomites and the heathens cannot repent. Because why is the only trouble coming for Jacob in the most grand way? Why is the day of the Lord ultimately Jacob's trouble? Why are we going to be the ones catching the most hell in that time? When everyone sits, so supposedly, according to these people, we've all fallen short of the glory of God, right? So why is it not everyone's trouble? Why does it not say the believers of the Lord's trouble? Why is it specifically Jacob's trouble, man? Because this is a day to humble us, and it's going to be the final chance, the last chance that any of you people are going to ever get in your life to harm one of the children of Israel. After this day is over, you're never going to get a chance ever again to make an Israelite scared, to make an Israelite cry, to make an Israelite be troubled. You're never going to get a chance ever again after this. After however long the day of the Lord lasts, after it's finished, you are never going to be able to ever on this earth again make an Israelite feel bad. It's never going to happen again, right? And because of the knowing of that, that's what's going to make it such a horrible time. Because when people go after an Israelite in this time, they're going to bring everything that they got. And even for all that, they're still not going to win. Even though they're going to try their very best, they still lose at the end of this, man. They're still going to lose. They're still going to lose, man. Verse 17. No, verse 16, for there should be sedition among men, people not caring about what the government's talking about, people not caring about whether you're a doctor or an engineer, right? People are not caring about, oh, but that's a female, yo. That's a female. There's never no excuse to put your hand on a female. Them kind of guys are not going to make it, bro. You're touching girls. You're hitting a female. That's a woman, though. Did you see what she just was doing? I don't care, mate. End off. End off. There's never ever no excuse to put your hands on a female. Oh yeah, isn't there? Is that right? Is there ever an excuse to turn a woman to a pillar of salt? Yeah? Is there ever, did you hear what happened to Jezebel in the scriptures, mate? There's never no excuse to put your hands on a female. You talking about, man? Yahweh caused for a woman to get put into 12 pieces in the Bible. What was the excuse for that? What was their excuse for that? That kind of mentality is not going to be making it. There's never no excuse. Mate, no one's going to have time for hearing any of that. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the causes of their actions shall stand in their power. If they have the ability to do it, they're going to do it. I feel like stealing tonight. Okay, can you steal though? You want to do it, but can you? All right, go and find out. That's what's going to be happening. Oh, I'm hungry and I've never had steak before, this quality steak, and I know that place has got them. I'm going to go and steal some. Okay, you want to do that, but can you though? Well, we're going to see. We're going to find out. I'm going to try and take one of these cars and take them for a spin. Okay, that's what you think you want to do, but have you actually got the physicality to do it though? All right, try it then. And within that, things that women think that they can do, they're going to get the chance to see. Because as it stands right now in this society, all the things that women do against men is based off an unwritten rule, much like the rule that I said is going to be done away with, where men are not supposed to be physical with women. So women can be as aggressive as they want to be. They can say whatever they want to say. They can do all the female manipulations under the sun towards men. And they're allowed to do all the kind of female manipulations that women can get away with against men, right? They're allowed to use lust to try and manipulate men to do things. They're allowed to do everything that they want to do. They're allowed to cry and play the victim and manipulate in all these different ways that they do. But men are not ever allowed to use the physical gifts that they've been given from the Heavenly Father to dominate over women. That rule is going to be done away with. Women in this society have been able to get away with a lot of stuff that they get away with because of that. And I've heard one of the apostles saying that the main reason why women commit adultery in this world is because there's no fear. Because if they knew that after they committed that, if they pictured in their mind when they committed adultery, all the big brolic men that look like baseball players that are going to be throwing stones at their head, there wouldn't be no adultery going on. If they had literally saw their best female friend that they convinced to go and commit adultery, yeah, you go, girl, you do it, girl. Yeah, he's a dog anyway. He treats you like treats you like shit anyway, girl. You do it. If they saw that friend after they had persuaded them get just baseball, I'm on about them baseball spin ball, them ones that when you used to play the speed that you used to try and throw the ball when you're playing Nintendo Wii. If they saw big baseball sized stones getting thrown at them 100 miles per hour speeds at people's heads, both the adulterer and the adulteress, because the men would pattern up from that too. Not just the women, the men would be like, raw, bruv. Man's face looked normal. Then after that stone hit, after that brother hit a fastball off his head, man's whole eye was gone. I'm never committing adultery. That's what would be happening. But the women would be seeing that there's a thing that happens to them as well. Because for so much longer in this world, really, women have been singing it after having that high life, mate. And men, I've made playlists off of the videos I've seen, man, called Women Rebuke, and I ended up having to stop adding videos onto there. It went to like 350 plus videos of just women getting burnt out, man. And really, that was if I would have carried on doing it, it'd probably be based on the videos I've seen all the time, probably be in the thousands by now. And I didn't start it even that long ago, really. The women are always being mentioned. And for so long, they've been getting told it's going to eventually go dark. It's not going to always be like this. They didn't care. They always thought it was a joke and a game. But now, just because the EBT thing's being restricted a little bit, they're losing their mind. But they got told before, it's not always going to be like this. And because the love of many shall wax cold, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So people ain't going to care that you're struggling on the EBT because they're struggling while working. So they're going to be like, well, I'm struggling when working. And even though I know that even if they don't give you the EBT, it's not going to increase my finances in any way, I still don't care. I want to see somebody else doing worse than me. That's what these people are going to think. I don't want to. I'm tired of seeing you women in the queue, proud with the EBT, running your mouth, and your children being running around the store all day. When I know that I'm not about to feed myself properly tonight, so I'm gonna laugh, and they'll laugh at the poor person when they're poor themselves, because iniquity is abounded, the love of many wax cold. They know that it's not gonna affect them financially, whether you do or don't get that money. They're still gonna have to pay that same tax, and it's not gonna go to their benefit anyway, either way. But they're still like, I don't care. I want to see somebody else fucked up like I am. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, but because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And people in this earth are going to be terrified because it's all well and good. Like when I used to see some of these people that used to scoff, yeah, and I used to think to myself, like, this person, I can tell by how they're talking, they don't really know what it feels like to get punched in the face by somebody that knows how to fight. I can tell. Their legs are never shaked down to their soul from getting hit in the mouth by somebody that really knows how to twist that back foot and fucking turn that shoulder over. So that's why they're talking like that. They're talking like that because they've never been in a situation where they don't know whether they're going to escape tonight. That's why they're talking fresh, right? But in the time to come, people are going to find out what that's like, man. In the time to come, people are going to experience fear because in this society, people will antagonize, right? Get loud, do all kind of stuff, invade people's personal space in public, run their mouth, talk this and talk that, right? Because they know that to some degree, the other person ain't going to go all the way with them. So then after the person doesn't go all the way with them, but hurt them in some way and did something with them physical, they're going to just call the police and say, all right, I'd like to report an assault. And my address is, the description was, meh. And then the person's going to get arrested and they're going to smear the blood extra, play games, do this, do that, and try and get the person's life ruined now when they were starting running their mouth too. And try and get the people, you know how many people have ended up in jail because of that same thing that I'm mentioning right there? Some antagonistic asshole ran their mouth when the scriptures say you're not supposed to run your mouth. The scriptures say don't strive with a mighty man. But people in this world would strive with a man that they can clearly see is more mighty than them. And when they get blazed in their mouth, yeah, now they're like, oh man, I can't believe you struck me. No, what you mean? You was talking fresh, your own self. Men do this, women do this, right? They get spammed, they get boxed in their mouth, man. And then now they're looking stupid, holding their eye, looking like a pirate, and their hands the eye patch, right? And then now they're like, I can't believe this is happening. Why? Why can't you believe it's happening? And when all hell breaks loose, a lot of people are not going to be able to believe what's happening there. There's going to be a group of 10 fogged out, criminal-looking scumbags, Negan-looking people, man, right? Walking Dead, post-apocalyptic warlords outside of these people's houses. Outside of these people's houses, saying, "Yo, bring out your goods, real sharp." And the people at first are gonna think it's a joke because it's gonna be their neighbors doing it, and then they're gonna realize it's not a joke, and they're gonna have a choice: fight or flight. Yeah, fight or flight. That's gonna be the only choice, man. And they're gonna realize that it wasn't just only so-called black people that are the problem. Everyone's a scumbag. But the only ones that have got mercy and have got a savior and a Messiah and a sacrifice for their sins are the Israelites. So despite what any of you people can say about us, we're going to be all right, man. Even the so-called 2/3, they're going to be all right eventually. They're going to be in the kingdom of heaven. They're going to be under the new covenant. You ain't, though. You're going to catch all this hell and then end up even worse. And that ain't a word, but who cares? You people are going to end up even worse than this. After Jacob's trouble, you're going to still be getting your trouble as well. It's going to go from Jacob's trouble to Gentiles' trouble, to Esau's trouble, to Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18. They're going to go from a curse, Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 7, to destruction, Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18. And they can think it's a joke. All you people can think it's a joke all you want. All you elites, you can run your mouth behind the scenes. You can try and do your passive-aggressive talk about and your cold words that you want to use about this doctrine that you've heard. You've heard it. You can pretend you haven't heard it all you want. You've heard the message, man. It's been sent to your ears. You can try and say all you want to say, all you want. You've heard it and you know it's going to happen to you. You can feel that you have not got as much power as you used to have. You can crash the stock market. You can try and give people IDs, digital and all these things. You can try and microchip as much people as you want to do. It's not going to stop what's going to happen. It's inevitable. And when you finally do say peace and safety, That's when the destruction comes for you lot. Now you can think it's a game all you want. We already have told you as Israelites that we gave you the warnings. You don't want to go through these things that we're mentioning into you? Okay. Don't do World War III, yeah. Don't go through with your plan to put a micro CHIP in the citizens of your countries. Don't do these things. You'll keep your kingdom. But here's the thing. You're going to do them anyway. We can tell you and give you the warnings. Okay, don't do this. You're so wicked, you still do it anyway. You would think, okay, yeah, that's what you're saying. But I'm going to do what you're saying I shouldn't do. And I'm still going to win. Because I'm smart like that. I'm a high IQ'd individual. Okay. You keep telling yourself that, mate. You keep telling yourself that. We're going to see. We're going to see, man. Verse 19. In fact, verse 18. But because of their pride, and that's the pride that you people show, where you think you can disrespect the Lord's creation and still win. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. When people's food starts running out, watch the chaos that's going to ensue. Just wait and see all the evil that people are going to do to each other when there's a lack of bread in this world. Just wait and see, man. When there's a lack of being able to sustain yourself, the people are going to lose their minds, right? They're going to. And you can't say you wasn't warned from the Hebrew Israelites when it happens, because they told you. They told you what was going to happen, and you people arrogantly fanned your hands. You elites in your arrogance thought that the wicked left-hand energies you was putting on the left-hand side was going to be enough to escape from what they told you was inevitable. Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.